We are officially in Q4. Today is day one. And while everybody else has decided to slow down a little bit, or they're planning their vacation and their Christmas parties and everything else that comes along with Q4, we actually take the time to reflect on our year. And we're going to talk about that, what actual business planning and not just goal setting means, at least for us as business owners here. We do have a special guest with us today. She is our lender partner here in office with us. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, let them know who you're with, where they can find you, and what you do.
Of course. My name is Stephanie Flores. I'm with Blueprint Home Loans. I will be here full-time at the Lionsgate office in 411 Fannin, ready to serve our clients and anyone that needs any assistance with buying, selling, refinancing, or purchasing. So I'll be here full-time.
All right, we're going to jump right into it. So, Vick, before I ever got into this business, I think you're the one who actually shined a light on this to me. Everybody else, we always plan our goals at the beginning of the year, whether that be fitness, monetary, whatever it may be, right? But you're the one who taught me, or at least here in the company, that you should start doing that in Q4, especially if it's a business plan and not just personal goals. You want to go down into that reasoning and what that actually looks like for us?
Yeah, I think I always want to get started, put your best foot forward. And if it's that age-old saying that I unfortunately don't follow, but I do really appreciate. It's if you're on time, you're already late, right? Yeah. And for us and for my goal settings, it's just there's unexpected changes that happen when you're trying to set up a new system or a new plan or a new way of doing things. There's going to be new hurdles and obstacles that you're going to have to overcome. And if you're doing that in real time, then you're already kind of losing that battle, right? You're already facing an uphill battle trying to make these changes for yourself and your business and whatever your goal is, right? You're already facing challenges because you're changing. So what I like to do is to get it out of the way ahead of time. So in Q4, I really get to game plan and set actual target dates, times. I get to do it with a clear mind, with no pressure. With just it's not an idea anymore. It is a plan with specific dates and metrics and things that we're hitting. So when the first comes, the beginning of the year, you're already in the routine. You've already started it. You already know if it works or not. You already know if maybe you were a little too ambitious with some things, or maybe you weren't ambitious enough. And I like to get that out of the way beforehand and put your best foot forward. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. Giving yourself a fighting chance.
Yeah, and I was listening to some motivation podcast while I was at the gym. It's a bunch of those little clips from like athletes, and they were saying like while other athletes who are have natural talent, while they just go and work out at the gym for the 4 hours that the coach tells them to, Kobe was in the gym all day, not going out to the clubs, nothing. He'd go right after the game, go right back to training until he got what he wanted done. And that's how you set yourself apart from the people who are naturally talented or naturally have abilities and sales or whatever you may be in. That's what's going to set you apart, even if you're not naturally talented. To be able to create that, go in there, continue to double down on your craft while everybody else is taking their time either to relax or take a break.
Yeah, I agree. I think that naturally talented people obviously put less effort and get a lot of the same results. And that's not to say that I feel that I am fairly talented and I didn't have to do a lot of hard work. But what I noticed that when I did apply myself and I did give myself these goals, I was able to level up the business and kind of just level up everyone around me. And, when it was just me by myself, and I think Nate and I talk about this often, when it was just us or it was just a couple of us, some of those things were okay, right? They were okay. We could maintain, we were making money, everything was fine. But as you want to increase your business and as you want to grow in business and grow those people around you and really build something that's going to last, you realize that you have to challenge yourself and take yourself, seriously and push yourself to that next level.
I think it's humbling, whenever you work for companies, right? And you work for other people, they have all these policies, all these, they have all these rules that they want you to follow. And you're kind of just like, man, I don't need that. I'm not going to listen to that. I don't care. Whatever, right? And so you start your own company and it's just you and maybe a couple of other people and all of you are, you're all top producers, you're all, banging, deals and making money. But then there's a moment when it stops being that startup. It stops being that small business. And then it's like, all right, we can't run a business like this. We have to start setting policies, selling everything that we hated, right? When we started or why we started our business, right? And there's just some things that we have to do, you know.
I'll go a little into like the psychology behind that too for us is that I will stand on that. Then I didn't need it then, and I still don't need it today. I don't think you needed it then, and I don't think you need that today. But there is people that we want to be successful in this business that I want to be part of Lionsgate Realty. They do need these things. They need certain policies and procedures. They need rules and regulations. They need a solid plan on how to get there. And if you value your people and you want them to be successful, then you have to give them all the tools to be successful. So even though there's things that I don't need, I'm still making sure that my team has everything they need in order to be successful. And I think that's really important when you're considering what company to work for, or considering what brokerage you're going to align yourself with, or considering what manager you're going to join. Do they have your best interest in mind? Are they willing to sacrifice some things that are painful? They are painful to me. I will say not as painful to Nate. Nate can say differently, but I think Nate always did the reports and I didn't. And I always do. I always say I respected Nate for that. Like, no matter what, we're doing whatever we're doing. And at Sunday night, Nate was turning in his reports and they'd call me for my reports. And I was like, bro, I'll see you Tuesday. Like, I'm not turning none in. And it was just different. Yeah, it was a different mentality that I had. I would say a lot of that was maybe maturity, age, and different things. I think today I would do the reports.
Yeah, Vick was 16. I was supporting 3 kids, so it was a different mindset.
I was supporting a lot of single mothers out there too. So I had responsibilities too.
That's terrible. But no, back to business planning, right? A lot of people they say they want a business plan, okay? And the thing about it is that. And it's actually a question. Where does business planning start? Like, where does it start?
Personally, so this was something that I wanted to bring up. So I'm glad you kind of pivoted this way. I personally think that it comes with what you want to achieve the next year, not just in your job or your title or whatever it may be in your career, but also including like your personal, your family, where do you, as a person, where do you want to be this coming year? Mm-hmm. Because in my opinion, like if you're married, which I don't know because I'm not married, but I think it does matter a lot to take that person into account whenever you're deciding, okay, hey, look, I'm going to double down. Like, I need you to be along with this because this is what I'm doing. And if that person, we've seen it happen in this business a lot, right? Whenever a spouse doesn't support that person who's trying to hustle in real estate and they don't want them to be around a bunch of different people, or, they're like, oh, you're coming home too late. And they don't understand that, like, we don't have an hour when to get home. And a lot of times we are out there, getting clients now. A lot of times realtors use that as an excuse to go party. Yeah. But there are some realtors that are actually out there networking and they're building their pipeline, they're building their connections, and it takes them to be out and about. And if their wife or their husband was never used to them being out there, like, I think you have to have that conversation with them beforehand.
Sure. Yeah. I'm gonna do a shameless plug here. My name is Victorino Cortez. I'm the president here at Lionsgate Realty. I spent 6 years at a 2-year community college, and this is what I learned. I went to a class, and it was called Learning Frameworks. Everyone had to do it at Lone Star College, and it was like to teach you how to like prepare for college. And that class that I took, I graduated from high school early, so I think I was 16 or 17 when I took this class, and I learned how to set up a plan for yourself, right? And when you're asking, where does business planning start? It starts with yourself first. What do you want for yourself? Selfishly, what do you want for yourself, right? And as men, more times than not, we're leading the household. If you're not leading your household, you still have to selfishly take care of yourself because you have to make sure you're in your best position to take care of whoever you're taking care of, right? So it still starts with yourself. And this was in the class. It wasn't, gender, it was gender neutral. Whoever, is taking care of whatever, right? And what they talked about was setting those plans for yourself. And they gave me a framework for that. And that framework starts with monetary goals that you have, personal goals that you have, whether it be weight, whether it be promotions, whether it be any personal thing, and then business goals if you want to set up other business and things like that. Since we were in college, our business goals had to be more educational focused than business. But it was a 3-step process that I learned, and I used that ever since then, every time. And I had a meeting with myself at the end of the year. And I literally just told Nate this the other day that I said, no one's going to be harder on me than I am on myself. It doesn't matter. No one's going to punish themselves more than when I'm going to punish myself. I'm going to do that to myself because I'm letting myself down, right? So at the end of the year, I look at the good and the bad that I did. And with that same thought, I think about what I need to change for that year coming up, where I want to make money at. And I've done this all the time. What debts I want to pay down, what debts I want to take on. What things am I trying to do if I want to buy more houses? I mean, Nate and I just talked about we haven't purchased houses, I think, in the last 3 years, maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't time.
I don't think we've bought homes in the last 3-4 years. And that's something that I'm putting on my goals. I think your goals as well, that it's hey, we're going to get back active into purchasing of property as it comes on and getting my mind ready to, okay, let me start saving for that good opportunity that's coming. Let me start making the moves so I'm ready to do those things. So that meeting, that business planning needs to start with yourself, right? How much money do you want? Where do you want to be? And what are you going to do to get there? Those are the 3 things that you have to consider. And if you do that, you should have a business plan in yourself. Everything else are just filler things, daily tasks that you need to do to get there.
What do you think whenever it's business planning?
I think business planning, you should reflect, especially right now that we're in the last quarter, reflect on the previous quarter. If we're talking business wise, what is something that I did that didn't help me essentially? What did I waste my time on? So how did I structure my day? Did I hit my previous goals? For example, like personal wise, it could be weight. For example, like me, I had a goal to lose 20 pounds. I did it, I achieved it, but then I gained the weight back. The reason being is that I wasn't consistent with my structure. So that kind of was on me. Me being a wife and a mother, it's a little bit tough because I do have to structure my day starting at 4:30 in the morning if I want to get my workout in. So it really all boils down to discipline. How disciplined are you? And what are the results that you want to see? So compare numbers. For example, last quarter, what were you doing? What activities should you have done that you didn't do? And then implement them going forward with the next quarter, whether that's business, personal.
And you see, the thing is, all 3 of you, right? You're all on the money, right? You all said the same thing. And it's, I have to look at myself.
Yes.
I have to see where I want to be. I'm looking where I was and what I'm doing, right?
Right.
And that's the biggest problem, I think, right now with goal setting, that everybody wants to goal set, but they don't know what to goal set on. And so what they do is they mindlessly look through Instagram or social media to find people they can live vicariously through, you know, and then they'll go to, you know, workshops and masterminds and you know, all these networking events, and they'll buy into somebody else's plans and make it their own. And they're satisfied with that, you know, and that's what I always say. You have to find out what you want to do, where you want to go, where you want to be. And when you have that, that's when you go to the masterminds, to the, you know, and because if you're going into a mastermind and he's pushing you in a different direction, then that's not the right one for you. You know, if you're buying a book, you know, and I get a lot of heat for this. You know, I tell people, don't mindlessly pick up a book or somebody recommended to you and just read through it. I said, and if you're reading through a book and the first 2-3 chapters is just not saying anything that benefits or what you want to do, don't do it. Because all you're doing is going in the opposite direction where you need to go. And people do not understand that. And they will fight me. You know, they feel that the more knowledge you get, the better you will be. And that's not necessarily true.
Yeah, and just to touch base on what you just said right now about, you know, they'll take somebody else's game plan and apply it to themselves. A lot of times that's why they fail too, because it's not for them. You know, that's not like you're trying to live somebody else's life and you're going to give up on those goals because that's not who you want it to be to begin with. So it is very important, in my opinion, to be like, okay, well, this is the person I want to be next year or in the next 5 years. You also have to reflect on, what do I need to drop to become that person? There's certain habits that I have today that if I want to be in shape, I mean, it's easy to reflect it to the gym, right? Because if I want to be in shape next year, I know I need to stop eating after 6 because I'm going to go to sleep at 10 or 11. And if I eat too late, I know I'm not going to go to sleep until 3 or 4 in the morning. Then I'm not going to wake up to go to my gym, right? Little habits, they turn into bigger things, they compound, and then you don't get to be the person that you want to be. And it all reflects back even to your business. Same thing, right? If I want to expand my team, if I want to make my name known a little bit more out here in the Houston area and where I'm from, I know that I have to start doing things that I don't like to do, which is network, go to events. I don't like that, but I'm forcing myself even today to go out and do these things and force myself to be there in places where I feel uncomfortable, because what I want, I have to start changing that now. It'll become easier as I get, further down that path. And I think that's one thing that people don't look at is, what do I need to drop to become the person I need to be? Everybody's always like, oh, this is who I want to be. And they continue to do the same thing and try to add more. You should start taking things away. Going back to, not going back, but what you just got, right? Your Cybertruck. One thing that Elon did. Well, I don't know. Should I drop that? Oh, no, what do you mean? You got your cup.
I'm going to show my beautiful cup here. I don't know if I can say this on the pod, but there's certain privilege out there. And if you're a certain complexion, they give you a lot of free things. It's crazy. We bought a lot of cars, and Mercedes gave me a awesome package. And then Tesla has done the same thing. So since, I've had my Caucasian kids, things have changed in my life.
It's that American privilege. We love it. We all get to enjoy it. But going back to Tesla, right? One thing that Elon does is he tries to figure out when he's making something better, what can I take away that isn't needed in this car to continue to make it even better? Not what can I add on top of it, add another 20 parts. No, he's trying to figure out what he can either make smaller or take away.
What can we take away from the brokerage right now to make us better?
And Vick is like, no. I got a feel in mind.
Vick is like, no, they're day ones. So I don't know.
Wow. You guys are in the hot seat. There's 19 of you guys, and Nate went to fire. So
I want to fire 19 people right now, dude. But go ahead.
No, I do appreciate that, and not that I was indifferent about Tesla one way or the other, right? But I did gain a lot of respect for Elon when he took over Twitter off of just a beef, like just straight up just did it because he got mad, and I was just like, that's pretty crazy. But beyond the emotional, aspect of it, right? And his ability to strip that company through. Get rid of all the waste, get rid of all the people that they're just trying to check, get rid of all the unnecessary things, and only keep the necessities, only keep the essential people, help them work to their full potential, and still have a good platform. Even better, some will say, because the algorithm has been better. There's been more. It's been better for me on my side. I understand how to use it now. The algorithm's great. We're having great conversations on there. I'm connecting with my community, which is real estate on there. I'm super impressed with how the algorithm's working. So there's a lot of respect to be, there's a lot of respect to give there. Imagine when you're working with somebody that's not doing, that's really holding you down, or you don't want to work hard because they don't appreciate it, or there's no incentive. You're just at a company doing all these things and everyone's dragging you, one way or the other. It's really cool to work with high producing people, high functioning people. You guys are working towards a task and y'all win. And I'm seeing that firsthand with X, with Twitter, right? Or with Elon bot. So it's an amazing thing. There's a lot of respect there for that. Yeah. Being efficient and planning those things out.
I'm surprised that you actually got the truck first, because I know Nate, that's like his biggest fan over there.
Oh, bro.
Elon, that's his boy over there.
Don't make me go on a rant, bro.
The first person I ever rode in a Tesla with, I would say maybe 10 years ago when Nate thought they were cool, it was Nate. It was in the Galleria. He stuffed me in the back seat of the Gulf Wing one, and he was trying to drive it out of the mall dealership there. But
you are no. You're that story's not true.
You're mistaken.
I was told. No, listen. I was told that the Tesla was a nice car, and so I went to go drive it, and it was terrible. There's no luxury to it. Now I did see these new Teslas. They're nicer and they have more luxury features. But whenever they started off, it was like crazy. It was like a stormtrooper. I mean, it was it was a terrible car, and I hated it. And I've hated it ever since. Honestly, I even tried to, I'm open-minded, so I went to go drive it. Still don't like it. And the thing is this, right? And I'll stick to my guns. We live, or our economy, right? And that's something that I'm always looking at, is the economy, and not the national economy, not anything. I'll look at macroeconomies. I'll look at my economy here. I always stick to that, and that's my secret. That's why I always stay ahead of the game when it comes to real estate. It is silly for anybody to be driving around in a Tesla in the Houston area, in the Texas area, period, knowing that our whole economy sits on top of oil, gas, any of that. It's just, to me, and it's almost like a slap in the face to any Texan. Just saying.
What if you ride around with a Texas flag in the back?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's an amazing thing.
It doesn't matter.
The amount of housing and employment opportunities and income that Elon has brought to Texas today, I'm okay.
That he's
10 years ago,
that he's brought to Brownsville, Texas. That he's brought to
where we have shout out McAllen.
Yeah, I mean, the
To
people
San
there
Antonio,
they
to
needed the
Austin,
jobs over there.
to-
They
you
needed
know?
the
I
jobs
mean,
over
it doesn't
there.
benefit us.
Yeah.
I'm telling you in the long run.
Yeah, we'll all see. So
We will see.
So, like I said, I also am not involved in the oil business. Like I am not involved in the oil business. I am a strict consumer, and yeah, Tesla doesn't have the luxury that my Mercedes had. I will say that, but it's a cool car.
The thing is that I'm very patient with being right, and I'm very gracious about it too. But the thing, I am.
I agree with the first half, not the latter. Yeah.
But the thing is this, all right? In 2018, 19, we started to get kind of the real estate market was kind of starting to surge, and then we just went into this freaking frenzy. The whole time I've been telling people that the sky is falling. Is that not true? Okay, so now I just want a simple question. It's only for Vick and Jovani because I didn't know you at that time. Oh, and in Florida too. Was I right?
By the sky is falling. What do you mean?
I mean,
'Cause
just
we want to clarify
everything
for
that
viewers.
everything that I said was going to happen in real estate did it not happen about 98% accuracy.
Roughly, but I would clarify because they're probably thinking you're talking about a real estate crash, which is not.
No,
what
not a real estate crash.
Okay, yeah, but clarify.
Just what's happening with the whole real
What's
estate.
happening, like with the industry
with the
itself.
industry
Yes.
itself.
Yeah, with the industry, I would probably give you 99%.
I predicted this. I predicted it almost to a T. There are some things that kind of took me by surprise, but I predicted this. And I said it, and I yelled it from the rooftops. People said I was crazy. People said I was dumb.
Well, what did you predict, or what did people not like?
I mean, I can go into a whole full freaking, that's a whole podcast that we can have. Like, hey,
I mean,
what
I
I
think,
said then,
I think one of
we
the
should
main
do-
things that we're seeing happening now is the whole team structure. Like
Oh, yeah.
that's dissolving like in front of our eyes.
Yeah, it's
right
not.
now.
It doesn't work.
Okay.
It doesn't work at all.
That's
the
one
team
thing that I
structure
can point out.
It doesn't work. I told you realtors were going to go back to their day jobs. I told you it was going to. I mean, everything that I've said, and people thought I was hating. People thought I was being ugly about it. And get this. This is the thing. It wasn't like I was saying things because my business was doing bad and everybody else was doing good, right? I was doing good. I was making money. My company was making money. It's still making money. It's still making year over year more profits. And you know what? With less realtors.
Yeah.
And the thing is this, we taught our realtors how to get along. So check this out. None of our realtors are fatigued. None of our realtors are scared. None of our realtors are worried about what's going to happen to the future. Our realtors are worried about spending time with their family right now. Our realtors are about, hey, you know what? I'm going to chill with my family. Let me already hit my cap. I already hit all my money. Let me just go chill. That's what our realtors are doing. So I need to get more hungry realtors.
Yeah, but I think in back to that conversation, and that's what I was asking, like what projections, because there's a lot of things that we've said, and a lot of the things that we've said have come true. But with the team dynamic, I think just at our core, we understand that teams don't work. You're running a mini brokerage within a brokerage, and it just does not make sense to me. It's
undermining a company.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And I know in business you want to multiply yourself, and you want to have people doing what you're doing and things like that. But I just truly, the core of me doesn't feel that a team is the way to go. Just go start your brokerage and take the risk and put your money where your mouth is. And if your leader is not willing to put their money where their mouth is, and they're not willing to take the risk, and they're not willing to do those things, then they don't have it, and they're gonna run at the first sight. It's something that I will say that Nate taught me. It's about marriage. You don't marriage your that person. They're never gonna feel committed. They're never gonna feel there. They're never gonna feel like you have their back. And then once you take that risk and you get married, then things change. It's the same in business. Once you take that risk, then things change. If you're just half in, half out, there's no commitment there. You can leave whenever.
Mm-hmm. I got some credit, man. That's awesome.
You could dismantle the team. Nate gets a lot of credit. I get zero credit.
But yeah, definitely.
But
go ahead,
hold on real quick. Let me cut it. But he said, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I would say that too. I said, man, why are you doing this team thing? Just go get a freaking brokerage. But now this is something that I didn't foresee that I'm starting to see now. A lot of people are running to get their broker's license. The problem is they have no direction. They have no game plan. They're running their brokerage like a team. and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So now I'm starting to look at them and say, well, you know what, this could be dangerous. This could be like a whole other, you know, debacle or whatever.
But we've seen that before. I mean, I will say that I wasn't old enough, but I saw it on the sidelines in 2004 to 2007. I watched people start their brokerages.
Yes.
It was the barrier entry to brokerages. You think real estate licensing was easier in 2004? Easiest thing to get your brokers. I think you had to do a couple deals. Like, I think even if that, you used to get your license in 2 years, you can become a broker.
Yeah.
In those times for 2004, 2007, easiest things to get your brokerage in. Now, a lot more difficult, but still same risk. I mean, and I think that's why they made it so hard to do, right?
But
they changed all the guidelines,
did.
but people are still getting their brokerages. They shouldn't, just like they did back then.
But let me tell you the difference, okay? The difference is that in 2004, we didn't have tons of workspaces, okay?
Yeah.
So now it's affordable for you to have a fake office,
Yeah.
okay? So that's one.
$99 a month if y'all want to call me.
Yeah, if you want, yeah. So second,
fake office here.
hey, we'll rent your podcast. So you get two free podcasts a week. So shameless plug. So the thing is this, okay? Back in 2004, we didn't have shared spaces everywhere. So right now you can have a fake office and make it look like you have a big brokerage, okay? Second, okay, you have tons of old school, how you say it? You have tons of old school realtors that have left the business, that have left Keller Williams, that have left, a Remax, have left all these, just defeated realtors, right? That have turned into coaches.
Yeah.
Okay? So they're essentially coaching these people how to run a bootleg, a brokerage. It's not even, so, and that's the thing, right? We had a vision that was made up. Mm-hmm. Like, we made up a vision based on the realtors that we surrounded ourselves with, the knowledge of our market, of our business, the knowledge of sales. That's how we created our business plan, our vision, everything, right? We didn't hire somebody to tell us how to run it.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you look at that, you got to think about it like this. It's like a manager at freaking McDonald's, right? Retires and helps you start a hamburger joint. I mean, what do you have there? You'll never get to the McDonald's status.
Never.
You'll never.
They have now social media that they didn't have before, and that makes it
Exactly. Now
Yeah.
you have social media.
Yeah, it
Social
amplifies
media-
your
social-
message for sure. It makes you feel bigger than you are.
It makes you feel like you're huge. So that could be a problem. And I was thinking about this the other day. I said that could be a problem with all these brokers. These brokers are just going to run wild. And I mean, we're literally getting more and more diluted.
Yeah.
Diluted to the point where we're going to have another reckoning, right? We're going to have another, hey, you know what? Nobody could do real estate anymore unless you whatever, I mean, they're going to start. And you went to the meeting. Tell us a little bit about the HAR meeting that you went to.
Oh, man.
They were telling you a lot of stuff there.
There was a lot of information to take on there. There is going to be a lot of changes in the industry, and there's a lot of fights. They're saying that what we're experiencing right now with our commission changes it's just tip of the iceberg as far as everything that's going to change and the expectation. Even with Texas, with changing their cold calling statuses and their text messaging, they're going to come after the real estate industry really hard. But you have to be careful, and this was from them, right? You have to be careful because the reason why realtors are here is because of all of the shady things that people can do with real estate, as far as stealing properties, changing deeds, and this isn't a car, right? This isn't a depreciation asset that's going to be worth $2,000-$3,000 in a couple years. This is equity that increases year over year, and they can steal equity from your loved ones, from older people. Realtors need to be here to protect the general public. That's why we're licensed. But you also need to take that job seriously, and I don't think that a lot of people do.
They don't.
And they're gonna make it a point to force you guys to start taking it serious.
And I think that's needed. I've been saying this for like 3 to 4 years, maybe even since I got in the industry. As soon as I got my license, it's too easy, and then you make it harder. I was like, but let me get mine first, right? So I honestly believe that. I don't think that anybody should be able to come into this industry, take a course for 4 or 5 months, and get their license and just start selling houses.
They've already changed
yeah.
They've already changed that license. Right. I mean, right now, I haven't taken my CE this year, but I help the agents, or sometimes I oversee them taking their CE, and I've seen that there's a change that you have to have a certain number of transactions under the brokerage,
yes,
before you get your like regular split or whatever you negotiate. So the first deals have to be worked by a team leader or the broker.
They want the broker or actually they want a manager, an office manager for the broker's office manager, to work the first deals.
And that's crazy, right? Because like that's the structure that we've been had for what 3-4 years now.
We've had
since Vick's been a manager.
Since 2019, I think we made the change. We sat down, we looked at the market. We once again sat down, looked at the market, identified the weaknesses, decided what we wanted to do and where we wanted to stand apart. And we felt that there was a lot of people that needed help. We're the best ones to do it. Come here, I'll take over your deal. I'm gonna show you how to do it. Hands-on training, visual learning, touch, feel, everything, and then I'll let you out. I'll let you be free in the parking lot when you want.
and we had people quit over that.
Yeah.
Like they join and we're telling them, hey, no, you can't do that. Oh, but my friend is such and such, and my friend is such is doing. Well, you're not doing this. You're doing here. You're gonna learn how to do it the right way. And the people that stuck it out and did their transactions with us, we walked them through it, we helped them, everything. They're still here and they're making money. And those people that left, where they're at.
Yeah, and a lot of times is because the people that left is really the only reason why they wanted to handle their own transactions. They never done anything in sales, and they've never read a contract before.
Yeah,
it was because they wanted their name on the sign, and it's like you're just here for the client. You're not here to help your clients.
Name and picture,
right? Really, like if you don't know nothing about real estate, I want somebody to help me because this is my client, personal family member, especially if you're just starting off new, you're helping friends and family.
Yeah.
Like I want them to be protected, And a lot of times that those people were coming in with the wrong, they wanted it for them, not necessarily to help.
They wanted their name and their picture on the sign. They wanted their business card, and they wanted to tell the whole world that they were realtors.
Yep.
We did it for that same reason, is that our name and reputation are everything to us. Yeah. And we've worked really hard to build this name and our reputation up. And how fast will your reputation be ruined? Like this, snap of a finger. Your reputation is ruined quickly. And we take that very serious for our agents that we hire. We want your family to be proud. We want you to create raving fans. We want people to be so excited to do business with you and feel that you're with the right company. That is what we want for our team, for you, for ourselves. And that's why we did the deal. So it wasn't about taking credit for your deal or I told agents 1,000 times, I will call hard and transfer the deal over to you once it closes, because you can do that hard. It helps us do that. So I will do that for you so you can get recognition, but I need to work this deal. And if that wasn't enough, then you're just an unreasonable person. And if you're fighting with me on this, you're going to fight with me for the rest of your life. So, it's a tough deal. With that being said, what are some things that you've experienced on your side as far as barrier of entry? You think your business is easy, hard, some people shouldn't be in it, or you think it's open to everyone?
I think lending should definitely be taken more seriously than what it is. I think it's a misconception of you're going to go out, you're going to network, you're going to go to networking events, you're going to talk to realtors, and they're going to send you deals. What I've seen, honestly, is that most clients, especially in today's era, are not educated financially. And so what I've learned, because I listen to a lot of podcasts from Dustin Owen, and it's very true. He says loan officers are the closest thing to a financial advisor that the majority of the American populace will get to experience, because they don't have that education in credit. They don't have that education regarding financing. So I think, honestly, becoming a loan officer should be taken a little bit more serious, because it's not just about fill the application, give me the docs, and here you go shopping. It's more about educating them. For example, you have this amount of money, you could be saving, let's say they have Chase. You could be saving money if you open an account, a money market account. Like, this is how I can help you. This is a bank that I can refer you to. Helping them in the long run, it's not just about let's get you pre-approved and get you to the closing table. So I do think that lending should be taken a little bit more seriously. Just because a lot of loan officers do take that approach of let's get you pre-approved and let's get you to the closing table.
I do appreciate you bringing that up. In our company, we do teach our realtors to not focus on the lending side. That's not our job.
Right.
Your job is a realtor, and lean on your lender partner to answer those questions, and that's what they're licensed for, and that's what we teach them. That didn't used to always be the case. As we talk about the changes that Trek has made, now we can't talk about the loans, and we shouldn't talk about them. Doesn't mean that we have to be completely, blind to the loan process. We just shouldn't be giving loan advice. And before that, I always had this like idea of having a financial conversation with the general public, because that was one of my revenue generating like tactics, is that I used to do a savings calendar that I used to send out to my prospects that didn't buy houses from me the years before. I used to send them a savings calendar, and I would be like, this is the year, follow this plan. And it had them an exact plan for the average down payment. I would give them a letter. This is your average down payment for the year on a $230,000 home. This is how much you need to save over the 52 weeks. And I would have a savings calendar for that, and I would send that out. And it was always a hit, and I always got, I would say 4 or 5 deals. And I would say anytime I get 1 or 2 deals from a marketing campaign, it's a great one for me, just because we're high ticket sales. So I would get 4 or 5 deals from that. And I would appreciate, or I would like for lenders to do that again, to go into that process of having those financial conversations, of keeping your credit score down up by keeping your debt down, and all these conversations. You're right. I don't think people experience wealth managers or money managers or ever have the conversation.
You know what's the terrible part about that is that there's wealth management disguised as insurance agents selling insurance.
They literally put wealth management as their title.
They put wealth management, money, they're going to educate you on finances. They're going to do all these things, but it's never really education.
I will say that was my poor word choicing, because you did say financial advisors, which I think is
even financial, right? They say they claim they're financial advisors.
And I'm going to say, like, I don't think that life insurance is bad, right? But the way that they pitch it is like, okay, yeah, we're going to set you up like a financial advisor. Yeah. And it's like, that's where that.
All right, I don't want $1 million when I'm 65. I want it now.
And I know who you're talking about, but I don't know if we can say it on here.
What's her name?
The Primera.
No, there's a bunch of groups. I don't know which one.
Yeah, so what's your name? She throws a name out. I was like, well, hold on.
Look, I'm gonna tell you straight out. I don't want to say that they don't have anything good to say or to offer. But any of those insurance companies that are MLMs, they're just not worth it. They're not interested in your actual wealth.
Right. It's like Vick said, they're there for a check.
Another thing too, right? And this is what I tell real estate agents. I always tell real estate agents this, and they think I'm crazy, but here's one of my other crazy predictions, right? Just based on what I've seen, right? The way you see insurance as an MLM business, that's pretty much what our future as realtors is going to be, if we don't cut it out. If we let these, these Chicago companies and these California companies come in here and talk, their crazy downline stuff, we're going to turn into that. We're going to turn into a big freaking, ballroom full of people trying to close them into selling real estate and charging them for the day by selling them some kind of packet to become a realtor, And if that's the road that you guys want to go down, then keep doing what you're doing. Stop making your business plan. Stop freaking working on yourself. And keep hiring those coaches and those all those people that you deal with on a day-to-day basis that know nothing about the business.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, the most important thing needs to be, if you want to be in this business, is to help people buy and sell. Like, that's the important thing, or investments too as well, right? Like that should be your foundation. Like, that's the reason why you get into this business.
I want to finish up with my last comment on this business in general and things like that, and mentorship being extremely important. I don't have a mentor in this moment that, like, I'm paying, or somebody that I'm hiring, right? I am fortunate enough to have Nate to yell at me often, but that aside, I've never went to go seek out a mentor that I'm paying. When I did interview certain mentors, I never connected with them, and I fought with them. I think even Nate and I tried the Tom Ferry business coaching, because we were thinking about going down that path, and I think we just started arguing with the guy, and he couldn't overcome our objections.
He couldn't even close us. I said, bro, you can't close me. You're gonna teach me to close somebody else. Get out of here, bro.
Yeah. So we're just we never connected with any other type of mentorship, which is why we decided to build our own mentorship here at Lionsgate Realty. And my advice is make sure that you're asking the tough questions, not just the feel good questions. Make sure as you're setting up this business plan that you're honest with yourself. And that is what I tell my agents here. Be honest with yourself about who you are. Don't come in here saying you're going to make $150,000 when you're not $150,000 type of person. You're not waking up. You're not committed. You're not willing to sacrifice late nights, birthday parties, everything. If you're not willing to put everything on the line to get yourself to that 150,000, don't lie to yourself. It's okay to be a $60,000, $80,000 earner. Mm-hmm. It's okay to live within your means and live a happy life and work there. It's okay, right? But make sure your mentor knows that as well. And make sure you're with the right people.
Yeah. And before we get off the podcast, I do want to mention this because I had this conversation with somebody who's currently going through their classes. And I've been communicating with this person for probably about 2 years. And she's been working on it. And she was asking me, okay, well, are you going to be my mentor? And I was like, well, that's not the way we do it here. I was like, Vic interviews everybody and he decides on who's going to be the best manager to help you. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'll shoot for you to be on my team because we've been communicating. But if Vic doesn't think that I'm the best person to help you, he's going to put you on the other person who's going to make you successful. Yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of brokerages don't have that. They just throw you on a team. Whoever brought you in, that's who you go with. It doesn't matter if I'm the one who gave Vic the referral, for you to come and interview with us. If Vic thinks that another one of our managers is going to help you achieve what you want to achieve, that's where you're going to go. And we don't have no beef about that because everybody here, we want them to grow and be successful.
And when the team sucks them up and spits them back out, then the brokerage calls back and say, hey, you still want to stay with the brokerage? I'll help you out. It's like, okay. But no, I'm glad that Vic said that because, sometimes people get the impression that we're just sitting here with our arms crossed saying, oh, no, we're the best. We're better than everybody and nobody can beat us. And the thing is that, we are saying that. and we're saying it not because we haven't tried. Not because we haven't looked. Just like Vic said right now, we called Tom Ferry's thing. We were trying to sign him years ago, whenever he was somebody. And we've looked at a lot of stuff. I go. Sometimes you'll see me at a freaking seminar, or you'll see me because I think maybe it's something that can help my company, help the realtors, help us. And I'll go in there and I'll be like, no, this is not it, or this is it, or you know what, let's try this, or let's try that. We're not sitting here making it up as we go. We're not inventing anything new. We're just cherry picking the best. And we're implementing it into our realtors, and that's why we've been successful and why we're coming up on 20 years as a brokerage.
Yeah. Nate gave me some advice that I think you should we give it out to the general public, which is you got to treat information like a water pipe. When you get from the water main, you're getting all this information through you. And you treat yourself like the water hose or the spigot, right? Is how you say it. And you're going to get all this information and you just open the information as needed and then you close it, right? Because the internet and AI and everything is a crazy place. You can sit there and drink the water all day, but you have to consume it little by little. Right. And that was the advice he's given me to push forward to the realtors. There's so much I want to teach you guys, but I can't just flood you with information. I have to give it to you in its time, at the right time.
And that's what is happening with a lot of people. They get all the information and then they run with it and don't know how to use it. It's like giving somebody a loaded gun.
Or they implement part of it.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't implement everything because they're not focused on just one strategy. Stephanie, you go ahead and have the last word and we'll exit out.
Well, I do agree with what you gentlemen are saying, and I think it goes back to what Jovani was saying, that you have to implement something little by little. So definitely with business planning, reflect on what you were doing, what didn't work for you, what worked for you, and go from there and implement better habits going forward. And
before you sign off, what goal do you have? What business goal do you have for yourself next year?
For myself next year, I definitely want to go back to my regular production. I want to do anywhere from 6 to 10 families a month. And I say families, I'm not going to say closed deals because my clients are important to me. So I do want to get to consistently 6 to 10, helping 6 to 10 different families a month and creating more partnerships with my realtors.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, go ahead. Actually, we'll let you exit out first. Let them know where they can find you. Remind them what you do.
Yes. So you can find me here at 411 Fannin. I am with Blueprint Home Loans. We do have an office inside Lionsgate Realty. So we will be here Monday through Friday. If you have any questions, you can look me up on LinkedIn under Stephanie Flores. My phone number also is 713-283-4548. And my email is sflores@myvploan.com.
Nice. My name is Victorino Cortez. I'm the president here at Lionsgate Realty. You can find me on social media at Real President with an E.
So my name is Nathan Valderas. You can find me at all my social media outlets at Better Call Nate. I am the master broker for Lionsgate Realty. Next year, I'm going to take on a new title. It's going to be called The Broker Maker. So you can reach out to me. If you're trying to be a broker, I'm definitely doing coaching for brokers and team leads who want to break away from their brokers and become their own brokerage.
All right, guys. And if you've been watching this podcast for at least a year, I want to remind you to eat the plane. Go back to watch my podcast about that. Eat the plane. I'm going to get a little plane prop. I need to get a broken plane in the back, dude.
Nice.
I'm Jovani Frank here. I'm a manager at Lionsgate Realty. You can find me on Instagram at Jovani, Jovani, East, EASTHTX. And until